Okay, so now he is asking the first thing about, we are discussing from 3:7 23rd verse. So you have told me about the gigantic Virat Rupa. Kindly explain me the different powers of the specific divisions. That is the first question. So basically he is asking about the various vibhutis of the world. He is asking about, the word used is Prabhupada writes about, okay, we'll continue and discuss something. Okay, continue, then we'll discuss. Next verse, translation.
O my Lord, I think that the progress manifest in the forms of sons, grandsons, and family members has spread all over the universe in different varieties and spaces.
Next, continue reading.
O Lord Brahmana, please describe
O
how the
Lord
leader,
Brahma,
namely Prajapati Brahma, decided to establish the various manus, the heads of the ages. Please describe the manus also, and please describe the descendants of those manus. O son of Mitra, kindly describe how the planets are split above the earth as well as underneath. And also please mention the measurement as well as that of the earthly planets.
So far he has asked about the specific divisions, the various planetary systems, how these different vibhutis are manifesting in the world, all the species created by Brahmaji he has described. Please describe that. About Manu and all the descendants, please describe. Then he's asking in 25th verse or 26th verse about the planetary systems that will be described in the 5th canto. And okay, that is Thanam basically, 5.16 to 26 chapter, 5th canto, 16 to 26 will be describing this cosmology, Vedic cosmology. So all the 14 planetary systems. Okay, next, 27th.
Also, please describe the living beings and the different classifications of humans, those born of the embryo, those born of perspiration, those who are twice born, birds, and the plants and vegetables. Kindly describe the generation and subdivisions also.
So this will be described in the 10th chapter in detail, then 12th chapter also, 29th chapter also, 6th canto also, all these things will be described. Continue.
Please also describe the incarnations of the living beings of Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwari, and please describe the incarnation of the human personality of the world. And please magnify us.
Continue.
Great sage, kindly describe the divisions and orders of human society in terms of symptoms, behavior, and characteristics of mental equilibrium and sense control. Also, please describe the births of the great sages and categorical divisions of the Vedas.
So that will be described in the 7th canto, where Narad Muni describes the Varnashram system to Yudhishthira Maharaj, 7.11 to 15. And it will be also described in the 11th canto and 12th canto. So Prabhupada writes about all these Varna and Ashrama divisions. He says all these divisions are based on karma and guna. It is not about birth.
If it's described in 7th canto, he lives in between, na?
I'm just
No, the question and answer I'm saying. You're right, like 7th canto, but the questions that he has asked, if it's not getting answered now, like anyway, after like
he'll answer something here, and then in detail it will be described.
He also described the different sacrifices in the paths of mystic powers, analytical study of knowledge and devotional service, all with their respective regulations. He also described the imperfections and contradictions of the faithless atheist, the situation of crossbreeding, and the movement of the living entities in various phases of life according to their particular modes of nature.
So in the 30th verse, Prabhupada writes about Tantra. Tantram va Bhagavat Smritam. So there are two types of Tantra, Black Tantra and the White Tantra. So Prabhupada writes, Tantra is misunderstood to be the black spiritual science of materialistic persons. But here the Tantra means the science of devotional service. So that is also there. Okay, continue.
You may also describe the non-contradictory causes of religiosity, economic development, sense gratification and salvation, and also the different means of livelihood and different processes of law and order as mentioned in the revealed scripture.
So that will be mentioned in detail in the 11th chapter, then 31st chapter of this third canto. And then in the 7th canto also will be described Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha. So that's how it is described in many places throughout Bhagavatam. Okay, next, continue.
Please also explain the regulations of offering respects to the forefathers, the creation of Pitraloka, the time schedule in the planets, stars, and luminaries, and their respective situations.
So this death rituals, they will be described in the 14th chapter of the 7th canto. Subodhini, everything is there written very nicely. And about these time schedule, that will be described in the 11th chapter. The calculation of time from atom in the 3rd canto, it will be described. So Pitriloka will be described in the 5th canto. Okay, and yeah, continue.
Please also describe the fruitive results of charity and penances and of digging reservoirs of water. Please describe the situations of persons who are away from home and also the duty of a man in an awkward position.
So the duty, charity, austerity, and sacrifice and duties in different situations. What is the Nitya Dharma? What is Naimittika Dharma? What is Apat Dharma? So all will be described in the 11th chapter also and in the 7th canto in more detail. Now Vidura, he had said that I am not satisfied. Paravaresham Bhagavan Vratani Shrutani me Vyasa Mukhada Bhikshanam Atripnuma. I have heard about Dharma, Artha, Kama, Moksha, bahut suna hai. Vyasdev say, I am not satisfied. So please speak about Krishna Katha more. So he has actually understood already these things from Vyasdev, but now he wants to hear again from the mouth of Maitreya in order to become detached. That's what Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes. And after asking all these questions, now he says what he really wants to know. इतना सब पूछने के बाद जिसके लिए आए थे वो भी पूछ रहे हैं. ये नवा भगवान स्तुष्येत कर्मयोनिर्जनार्दनः संप्रसीदयावायेषाम् एतदाख्याहि मे नघ.
O sinless one, because the personality of Godhead, the controller of all living entities, is the father of all religions and all those who are candidates for religious activities. Kindly describe how he can be completely satisfied. Hare Krishna.
Etat yena va Bhagavan stushhed. How Supreme Lord, who is Father of all religion, Dharma Yoni, who is Janardhan, who is the controller of every living being, how he can be tushhed, how he can be satisfied. Samprasidati, please tell me that. So Prabhupada writes, all religious activities are ultimately meant for satisfying Krishna. Which verse? Any other verse? Satisfaction. Everything is meant for satisfaction of the Lord. Samsiddhir haritoshanam. कैसे शुरू होता है वो? अतः पुंभिर द्विजश्रेष्ठ वर्णाश्रम विभागश स्वानुष्ठितस्य धर्मस्य संसिद्धिर हरितोषणम. Any other verse? श्रम एव ही केवलम भी आता है वो किसमें आता है? धर्मस्य ही आपवर्गस्य कामो लभा स्मृति हो नहीं, कामस्य न इंद्रिय प्रति लाभो जीवेत यावता जीवस्य नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं. श्रम एव के लिए वो किसमें आता है? मैं भूल गया. वही वर्स. So anyways, Dharma sonishthita pumsa vishwak sena gathasu na udpadi yed ratim yadi shramai kevalam. Yes, thank you. Okay, so after describing this, he says, yeah, okay, 36th. Anuvratanam shishyanam puttranam cha dvijottama anaprishtam api bruyor
Na Prushtamapi
salaha.
Dinavastala.
O best among the Brahmanas, those who are spiritual masters are very kind to the needy. They are always kind to their followers, disciples, and sons, and without being asked by them, the spiritual master describes all that is knowledge.
So similar thing Parikshit Maharaj also told ना सुखदेव गोस्वामी को इतना 28 क्वेश्चन पूछने के बाद बोलेंगे ये सब बताइए जो नहीं पूछा है वो भी बताइए. So that's what he is telling Maitreya also. I have asked you all these things. You are very kind. So please be kind, and even without being asked, you describe everything. जो नहीं पूछा है वो भी बताओ. So that's how. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, I do not know the most valuable thing to ask for. You should speak about it by your mercy. So I don't know what is the best thing. I have asked so many things. So please, you describe me on your own. Because he wanted to hear the most confidential knowledge he heard, Maitreya heard from Krishna, Paramam Sthiti. Okay, he continues to ask some more questions. Translation, next verse.
Please describe how many dissolutions there are for the elements of material nature and who survives after the dissolutions to serve the Lord while he is asleep.
So dissolution will be described in the 10th chapter here and then in the 12th chapter, 12th canto. There are 4 types of dissolution. Nitya Pralay, Naimittika, Prakritika and Atyantika. Nitya means something is getting destroyed every moment. Naimittika means that happens at the end of Brahma's day. Prakritika means at the end of Brahma's life. And Atyantika means when the false ego is destroyed and living entity gets liberated. That is Atyantika Pralaya, Pralaya of false ego. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes, having asked about sadhana bhakti, since sadhya bhakti is eternal, to dispose of any erroneous conceptions about this fact, Vidurji is now asking about the destruction of the material world. At the time of this destruction, who serves the Lord while he is sleeping? Just as one serves the king by waving a charmer who sleeps. Lord is sleeping, but who is serving? Because at the end, that is what is Chatushloki mein ek shlok hai na? Yatha mahanti bhutani bhuteshu chavacheshvanu pravishtani apravishtani tatha teshu nateshvaham. In that there is a one meaning is who is serving the Lord when everything is destroyed. That means the Supreme Lord's abode is eternal. The devotees are also eternal. They are always there to serve the Lord. So Prabhupada writes, Vidura's inquiry, last few lines, Vidura's inquiry about the such persons is a clear indication of the existence of all the paraphernalia of the Lord. Aham eva sameva gre. Lord is existing and the Lord's devotees are also existing. Lord's abode is also eternal. So after the dissolution, the Lord and his kingdom does not get destroyed. So that is what is mentioned here. Okay, next verse, translation.
What are the truths regarding the living entities and the Supreme Personality Godhead? What are their identities? What are the specific values in the knowledge of in the Vedas? And what are the necessities for the spiritual master and his disciples?
So he asks about the living entities and the Supreme Lord in more detail again, and about the Vedic knowledge. So that is mentioned in 25th to 33rd chapters in Kapila Upakhyan, when Kapila Dev is speaking to his mother Devahuti, and it will be described in 11th canto also and 12th canto also. So Prabhupada writes, that Vidurji is submitting all these questions just like a humble disciple is submitting in front of a spiritual master. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena. So that's what Prabhupada writes. And then he says, to disseminate, last lines of this purport, to disseminate transcendental knowledge, one must retire from mundane activities on the strength of enlightenment in knowledge in terms of Vedic wisdom. This is the sum and substance of all the questions in this verse. So a guru should be free from all the mundane activities. And because Maitreya Muni is free, so therefore he is asking all these questions. Okay, so now after this, the last few verses, after asking all these questions with Maitreya Muni mein se itna sara question puch liya highlighted. So Vidura establishes that without guru this knowledge is impossible and you are capable of giving this knowledge. Nimittani cha tasyeha proktanyanakha suribihi jnanam pumsam
The spotless devotees of the Lord have mentioned the source of such knowledge. How could one have knowledge of devotional service and detachment without the help of such devotees?
So he is expressing his confidence. Anywhere else this has come that after asking, आप दे सकते हैं मेरे सब प्रश्नों के उत्तर. Anyone has told it anytime? Okay.
Even the sages of Naimisharan also would
Sut Goswami glorify करते हैं. फिर Sut Goswami glorifies Shukdev Goswami. Then Vyasdev glorifies Narad Muni. Paryatan Ark Iva Trilokim Antar Bahir Sakshi. You are like Paramatma. You are like the air. You are like the sun. So that's how every person after asking question he gives confidence कि आप दे सकते हैं मुझे विश्वास है. So he gives the confidence that I know you can give this knowledge because you are a pure devotee. Nimittani cha tasyeha, the source of knowledge. Proktani, as you have mentioned, Suribhi, the spotless devotees of the Lord, they have mentioned all this knowledge. And swato jnanaha utah pumsam, how can one get knowledge swatah on one's own? Nobody can get knowledge. Bhakti and Vairagya, knowledge of devotion and knowledge of renunciation. Nobody can get automatically, only by the mercy of a guru one can get this knowledge. That's why Vyasdev, he took guru, accepted guru, Krishna accepted guru, Mahaprabhu accepted guru to prove this fact. So Prabhupada writes about the Suris. Prabhupada mentions about this, how Krishna accepted Sandipani Muni as guru, Arjuna accepted Krishna as guru. Suris, somebody can read from here, second paragraph.
But they may not always be anaga or spotless. The anaga suri is one who is a pure devotee of the Lord.
Yeah, very wonderful. Anagha Suri. Somebody may be Suri bhi, great scholar, but he may not be pure. But Anagha Suri, the devotee is always Anagha Suri. They never do anything wrong. Yesham tu antagatam papam. They have stopped doing anything sinful. Therefore, they are Anagha Suri. And devotee by naturally they are scholars. Tene Brahmaridaya Adikavaya. All the knowledge is revealed to a devotee. Continue.
Those who are not the pure devotees of the Lord, who want to be on an equal level with him, are not anaga suri. Pure devotees have prepared many books of knowledge on the basis of authorized scriptures. Srila Rupa Goswami and his assistants, under the instruction of Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, have all written various literature for the guidance of prospective devotees. And anyone who is very serious about raising himself to the standard of a pure devotee of the Lord must take advantage of those literatures.
Yeah. Somebody was asking me a few days back, What if I am just hearing all the classes and not reading books? Is it needed to read Prabhupada books, or I can hear the classes of devotees? Any thoughts?
Should read also. Because that's a lateral reading. So we need to, like the stages, one is hearing and contemplate and then deep reading.
Okay. I just want to hear. आप लोग के विचार. If somebody says मुझे तो ना सुनना अच्छा लगता, I like hearing. I don't like reading. So should I read also?
Yes.
Why?
Because it cements whatever we have heard. If we go on reading, then it fixes our mind and what parts.
Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Anything else? Why we should read? I like hearing. मैं दिन भर सुन सकता हूँ, लेकिन 1 घंटा भी पढ़ नहीं सकता.
So that is the instruction which Prabhupada will give on us.
Hey, yes, that is the instruction of Prabhupada. Prabhupada ne bola, I should read my books also. These are not just for distributing. He has written these books just to distribute. No, he has written these books to read also, so that we can become strong.
Systematic scrutinizing study, hearing is one thing, but to systematic and scrutinizingly study the Shastra is a part of it. Otherwise, that will be missing for our understanding and to take it further.
Correct. Scrutinizing study, as Prabhupada said, you should read my books like law books. So at least that is the first basic minimum he is expecting. किधर क्या है वो तो पता होना चाहिए. Just like IIT में sometimes they give open book exams. किधर से भी कहाँ है वो तो ढूंढने के लिए मेरे को पता होना चाहिए ना. I can tell you भागवतम में ढूंढ लो. कहाँ है भागवतम? At least this should be known. That is the first thing. And then next is contemplate on it. Then, scrutinizingly studying. Prabhupada says you should read my books from all the purports, from various angles of study. So that's how we should be expert. Okay, thank you. So therefore we should read. Okay, then he says. So Vidurji, now he's telling the reason. So he's telling the reason on his own. He says, please answer these questions because I only want to know about the pastimes of the Lord and service to him. That is my ultimate purpose in asking all these questions, because ultimately they are all related to the pastimes of the Lord. Lord's creation pastimes or Lord's Leela, personal pastimes. एतन में पृच्छता प्रश्नान हरे कर्म विवित्सया यस्य मित्रत्वात् अजया नष्ट चक्षुषः.
My dear sage, I have put all these questions before you with a view to knowing the pastimes of Hari, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. You are the friend of all, so kindly describe them for all those who have lost their vision.
एतन में पृच्छतः प्रश्नानि, जितने भी प्रश्न आपको पूछे हैं, क्यों पूछे हैं? हरेह कर्म विवित्सया, because I want to hear about the pastimes of the Lord. Karma vividsaya, और कोई मेरा हेतु नहीं. I just want to hear the pastimes. Therefore, mitratvat, the friend of all. Therefore, please describe also, because people have lost their vision. Kalau nashta drisham esha. Next line क्या? Anyone? इस पे नहीं. Kalau nashta drisham esha. Puran Arka, Lord appears in the form of Bhagavatam to give vision to those who have lost their vision in this world. So Chakravarti Thakur writes, when all these questions are answered, I will have complete concentration on the Lord's service. So I'll be able to, serve the Lord with full attention. And by full attention, I can attain the Lord. That is the purpose. So Prabhupada also writes that Vidurji, he puts forward so many questions only with one purpose, to understand the loving principle. No other reason. So he claimed the friendship of Maitre Muni, Mitratvad, Mitra ke jaise bataiye. Not because he was Maitreya's son, but because Maitreya was actually the friend of all. So that's how a devotee is. He is the friend of everyone.
So, who's Maitreya's son?
Sorry?
Not because he was Maitreya's son.
So Vidura is like a son, but he's calling himself as a Mitra because Maitreya is friendly to all living beings. That is how a devotee is. He is Surida. He is well-wisher of everyone. He is friend of all. So he was as if like the son, but he is calling himself as friend. Because friend means you are showing welfare to everyone, mercy to everyone. So Maitreya was actually friend of all. So please be friendly to me also. Okay, then next is Sarve Vedasya Yagyasya Tapodana Nichagha Shiva Bhaya Pradhanasya
Shiva Bhaya Pradhanasya
Kurvanti kalam.
Na Kurban Kalamati. Kalamapi.
All these questions will grant immunity
What
from
is-
all.
Answers to all these questions will grant immunity from all material miseries. Such charity is greater than all Vedic charities, sacrifices, finances, etc.
Sarve, O spotless one, O Anagha, the charity of your answers are greater than all the Vedic charities, sacrifices, and penances. This charity is a greater charity because your answers will give abhaya pradhan. They'll give fearlessness to all the living beings. And therefore, na kurviran kalam. There is no charity greater than this charity. That is the highest perfectional work of charity, to connect one to Krishna. Okay, so then after this, Shukadeva Goswami, he says, now Maitreya Muni, after hearing all these questions, he began to recite and narrate the descriptive explanation of the Puranas, being so infused by Vidurji. He was very much enlivened by speaking on the transcendental activities of the Lord. So that's how chapter ends. And how he starts is very amazing. In the next chapter, I will discuss next time. He starts by glorifying, you are thinking I am benefiting you, but I am getting benefited in your association. That's how Maitreya, he speaks. We'll stop here. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srimad Bhagvatam ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.